Onibaba, directed by Kaneto Shindo in 1964, is a film shot in black and white. It is set in a large Fusiki field in medieval Japan. The black and white, while it may be an economical choice, isolates the audience and lets the idea of a monster lurking in the shadows come to the forefront, as the whole world basically is covered by shadow in the film. The tall grass fields isolate the characters, a common technique used in horror films to provide opportunity to frighten both the characters and the audience. While these techniques are often used in film to create the feeling of terror, here they mirror the fear Japanese commoners felt when they were unwillingly trapped in civil war between ruling families. Onibaba shows how Kichi's mother, Kichi's wife, and Hachi survived during the war, and hypothetically how they would have lived during a time of. By demonstrating how the characters dealt with warfare, the film was also able to portray their underlying beliefs towards death and women that would have also been prevalent in medieval Japanese society. The film opens with wounded soldiers fleeing when they are suddenly hit by spears. Two women appear, Kichi's mother and Kichi's wife, to collect their weapons and armor and to dump the bodies in a pit. The scene is followed with the woman trading the weapons and armor for food. In a few minutes, the film is able to establish how villagers were able to survive during the war. Traditionally, women are seen as weak and confined to the house. They are normally not thought about when thinking about how warfare affects the population. Here, the women are shown to have been able to defend themselves, which goes hand in hand with what would have been considered Japanese custom with housewives. They were expected to be able to run a household and defend it if need be. Spears are used to kill the soldiers. Weapons like this would have been commonly used by both soldiers and common villagers, as this was the mid-14th century, before guns were available in Japan, and spears were relatively easy to build and use discreetly. While not as favored as the bow, which had a long-distance advantage. The spear is considerably easier to manufacture and use. The scene with Kichi's wife and mother receiving the food is continued by the return of Hachi, their neighbor. He returns with news of the war and death of Kichi. Hachi and Kichi were deserting the army, and Kichi was killed while stealing food from the farmer. Kichi's mother was not angered by his desertment of the army or stealing of food, which would have been seen as negatives in Western society. But she is instead angered by Hachi's abandonment of Kichi. There was no reason for her to be angry at them for leaving the army, as they were forced to join. Impressment was widespread among Japan during the Civil War. This is partly due to the caste system that they had, since there was a set warrior class that was ready to fight. Even they were not the first to fight, instead sending out expendable commoners. The villagers had no reason to fight for their lords, as the rulers of the area also treated them excessively poorly. While accurately showing warfare, the film is also able to portray how Japanese ideas of impurity and death stretch to women. When Hachi returns, he pesters Kichi's mother and wife with questions about how they were able to survive without he or Kichi. They are reluctant to tell him. This could be because they do not want to share their livelihood with the man who left their son and husband to die, but it could also be because death was associated with impurity. This idea did help prevent certain diseases through lack of contact with the dead. But the idea of impurity transferred on to the perception of woman. Kichi's mother and wife are first seen killing men. Throughout the course of the film, Kichi's wife is seen as a sexual creature cheating on her husband to some degree, and the mother becomes deceitful, trying to trick her daughter-in-law into staying with her for survival. Women are seen as impure due to their monthly contact with blood through their menstrual cycles. This led them to being seen as naturally impure and later spiritually impure. One of the 7 vices of women is the lack of guilt for sexually attracting men. This can be seen in Kichi's wife attracting Hachi. At the beginning, this interaction felt unwelcomed, but it is revealed that Kichi's wife welcomed these advancements and gave in. Kichi's mother tries to use her own sexuality to gain an advantage over Kichi's wife's relationship with Hachi. When she first tries, her advancements seem genuine. Like the long period without sexual gratification made her give in to Hachi, but within seconds it was revealed that she only did this to keep her daughter-in-law with her and helping her survive, showing her deceitful nature. Her deceitful manner comes more into play as she tricks the samurai into falling into a hole, stealing his mask, using it to try scare tactics to achieve her goal. This ultimately fails, as she is punished by the mask tearing her flesh off. Although the film is relatively modern, it does a good job at depicting how women would have been seen in feudal Japanese society. Onibaba accurately portrays commoner life in war-torn medieval Japan through its depiction of war tactics, ideas about death, and portrayal of women.